Today on Jumbo Friday, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that underwriters and lenders ask for, where you are just going to shake your head and go, are they joking? Are they joking? So I'm going to talk to you guys about my refinance that I did last year. So I worked with one of the top teams at our company. Love them. They are so talented. They are the best of the best. And I hate to say this, I'm the worst client ever because I don't like being bothered. And I'm sure many of you guys feel that way, where you're like, look, I make a good amount of money. You know, in my case, I was like, I have a lot of equity. I've got good credit. Why are you torturing me? Okay, so let me tell you what my loan got stuck up on and what I had to do in order to close it. So the big thing was we had a new investor who had really great rates. So I was like, oh my God, lock me with them. This is going to be great. It's a big name investor. Easy peasy. You know, I do my tax returns, I show all my income. As a lender, I know how to look good. However, this investor had a guideline where they needed all the K1s in my tax returns, regardless of the amount. And so I had bought some like penny type stocks years ago, like literally like $100, and it resulted in K1s. So my tax returns noted like 6 cents. Right? Because my tax accountant puts everything in. I'm very by the books. I didn't have a copy of these K1s and I couldn't find them anywhere because seriously, they were for 6 cents. And I'm like, are you joking? Get an exception. I can't find these. Couldn't get an exception. And the bottom line was that unless I found these K1s for 6 cents, my refinance on a house that I have 60% equity in would have been declined. Yeah. And you may go, oh my God, Jen, why? The rate was amazing. The rate was amazing. And that's what we see with Jumbo is sometimes what we'll see is the investors who are crazy picky have the lowest rates. So it's one of those things where you kind of put up with it in order to get that amazing rate. Could I have still, if I hadn't been able to get those K1s, could I have closed? Yes, but it would have been a different investor and my rate would have been higher. I literally spent an hour of my day going online, trying to find, a couple of these companies had actually gone out of business, trying to find a way to get K1s. And I was able to do it, but it did take about an hour and a half. And I'm sure many of you would be as equally frustrated as I was with the, are you kidding me? Right? But here's the thing about jumbo loans. They're not. They're not kidding. They have these rules that are set in stone for a specific reason, and you have to meet those parameters. Now, another thing that I always think is funny is there's one investor that I actually use a lot of, and they're hysterical because if you have, they're going to look at your bank statements, and if you have every single month, you know, check $400, check $400, check $400. Okay, your debt to income could be 5%. They're gonna say, hey, we need to know who those checks were for. And you're like, what? I make $40,000 a month and you're asking me about a $400 check? Are you kidding? Like it literally could be to pay the housekeeper, the gardener, whatever it is, and they're gonna be asking you to prove who that is because part of their guidelines is any reoccurring debt, they have to be able to show what it's for. Yeah, and they're not going to hit you in your debt to income with your gardener or housekeeper, whatever that $400 is, your babysitter, I don't know, your nails, whatever it is. But they want to know what it is in case it's something like, oh, I have a boat. That's my yacht slip. Right? That'd be very inexpensive for that. But you see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. So as a borrower, you're sitting there going, you know, in this example, I said you made $40,000 a month. You're saying I make $40,000 a month. I've got this perfect credit score. I've got $1 million in the bank and they're asking me about a $400 check. What is wrong with this lender? It's the guidelines. It's the guidelines. So it's super important that you guys know that whenever you're getting a jumbo loan, it's the guidelines. The guidelines can be crazy. And that's why I always tell people, I'm like, look, you know, we're very thankful that we have like 13 plus investors to choose from. When I started off in the industry, I was at a bank and I had one set of guidelines. Having only one set of guidelines right now would be terrifying because depending on people's financial situations, we need the flexibility to work within different guides. And some guides are much looser than others. So it's really important for you guys to know, like if you got a loan 3 years ago with a different entity and you're like, it was so much easier, cool. Okay, well, guess what? This lender who has this magically low rate, they're not as easygoing and as cool, and they are asking these questions as part of their guidelines. So the key thing to know is it doesn't matter how much you make, it doesn't matter what your credit score is, it doesn't matter how much equity you have, it's gonna matter if you can provide all the documents to meet the guidelines. Yeah. That's what to prepare for. And just to give you guys a heads up, if you have an American Express card and you put, all your expenses on your Amex every month and you pay it off, there's a very good chance you're going to end up on a conference call with a third-party company and Amex verifying that it has been paid off as well. Stuff like that. So if you're going through the process and you're getting really frustrated and you're ready to kill that lender because, oh my God, they won't stop, it's the guidelines. It's the guidelines. And if it's that bad, you can always say to your lender, hey, look, this is brutal. Do you have a different investor that's not as nitpicky? And as a lender, I can always go, yeah, and here's where the rates are. But what I find consistently is the lower the rate, the pickier the investor. The only exception to this would be if you're doing some sort of private banking deal that's based on how much money you have. And for something like that, you'd be working private bank direct and you'd probably have over $1 million in your account with them. So Jumbo Friday, if you're being tortured, welcome to Jumbo Loans. Thanks for watching.